On this video, we're going to share 3 steps it takes to taking down a bigger person in your next fight. Welcome back to another video brought to you by Brixton81. My name is Chris McGarrahan Jr. and today we're going to talk about how to beat a bigger opponent, how to win a fight against somebody who is significantly bigger than you. And I'm actually going to use the example of Conor McGregor, who's in the video I'm about to use as an example. He's about 5'9", 5'10", and 160 pounds in this video. He's fighting the Mountain from Game of Thrones, who's 6'8", 6'9", and almost 400 pounds. So there is a significant size difference. But in this video, which went viral a few years back, Conor McGregor follows 3 steps that we're going to break down on this video that you need to do to take down the bigger person. Now let me explain why these 3 steps is vital for everybody to know. There's this misconception, and not really in the fight world, but in the average person world, where the bigger man, the taller guy, the guy with the bigger muscles, is the toughest guy, is the guy who's gonna win the fight. And that's just silly. It's absolutely not true. It's actually contrary to true fighting skills. The person with the giant muscles, the Mountain for example, who just lays on a bench press and does this all day. They don't jump rope, they don't practice footwork, they don't practice punches, they don't do a lot of cardio, they do nothing to increase their skills as a fighter. They just have giant muscles, therefore think they can grab or squeeze or do or push. But against an actual fighter, like Conor McGregor, that will not work. And there's 3 things you can do as just being, pretty simple fight skills to destroy, not just beat, but destroy a big, giant, muscular guy that's trying to pick a fight with you. Now you have to understand as well, if a guy that size is trying to fight you, well, he's trying to bully you. He's trying to exert his physical dominance. He thinks, because I'm bigger than you, I can beat you in a fight. Now, it's our job as martial artists, as boxers, as people in the combat sports business, to teach that guy a lesson. Because if we don't, he's going to move on to the next person who's 5'9", 5'10", 160 pounds, but can't fight like Conor McGregor, and that's where bullying comes from. Bullies are always significantly bigger than their prey. So we need to know these skills and teach these skills to as many people as possible. So when a big bully who thinks they can push people around, but really they can't fight to save their lives, we need to put them in their place, and we need to show them and humble them so that they never pick on somebody smaller than them again. So this is a very serious topic, but it's also a very fun video. So check this out. This is broken down into 3 steps. Step 1 in beating a bigger opponent is you got to get them to move. Big guys, especially with giant muscles, have no cardio. They cannot stand in a fight for 45 seconds. And you actually see in the video, this Mountain guy is supposedly the strongest man in the world. He can't last 45 seconds in a fight. Why is that? Because they're not conditioned to. They don't practice that. It's contrary to building big muscles. It's not what they do. Listen, if we're having a bench press contest, that's something else. We're fighting, baby. It's a different game here. So what I want to do for step 1, I want to execute. I want to destroy. I want to dismantle that guy's gas tank. Now in this situation, let's say the water rack, the wrecking ball right here, is the Mountain's core. That's his stomach. So his head is all the way up here. It's actually out of frame of the camera. I want to execute. I want to attack this core right here. But first, I got to get him tired. Because if he's fresh, if he's not tired, he can grab me, he can do this, he can pull my arm, he can try to rip my neck off. But if he's tired, I'm going to slow him down a lot. So what do? Conor does this a lot. I'm going to use my footwork. I might touch his core a little bit. I'm really not trying to inflict any damage right now. But I touch him and back out. And all I want him doing is I want this big muscly guy to move. These guys don't move. They sit and eat all day long. I want them to move. How do I get them to move? By me moving. How do I get around this guy? How do I get his back? How do I get him to not see me? The more I move, the more he's gonna move. And I'll throw a lot of feints. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna get him to flinch. And he's gonna try and get me, but I'm gonna be out of the way. I'm gonna be 10 feet away. But touch, get out. Touch, touch, hook, 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 hook. I want to get this big dude to just move as much as possible, and you'll see in that video, in 45 seconds, just from Conor McGregor moving around him, the mountain is done. Why? Because big muscly guys can't move for more than 45 seconds. So step one, let's execute, let's destroy the gas tank. Step two, now that they're tired, what happens? They start slowing down. But what also happens is the body is extremely vulnerable. So try this exercise. Breathe out and feel your core. Feel your abs, feel your stomach. Now, breathe in and then feel your stomach. If you're like me, when you breathe out, when you exhale, your core tightens, so it can actually absorb a lot more body shots. When you inhale, it's very weak, it's very vulnerable, it's very susceptible. And if somebody hits you when you're inhaling, it really hurts. So what do I want to do? I got this big muscle guy, the mountain, I got him out of gas in 45 seconds. Now, every time he inhales, I want to throw a whip to that solar plex, throw a whip to the middle of his core, right there, right under the ribs, but right above the belly button. I just want to throw straight punches. I'm not trying to do hooks just yet, that's the next step. Straight punches and get out. Every time he inhales, which I'll see, because when he gets tired, they breathe in through their mouth. They stop breathing out of their nose. They go, every time his shoulders go up, I see his chest and his frame start to fill with oxygen. I know his stomach is sucked in. And I'm going to do that over and over and over again. And you see Conor do that for about 60 seconds. And what's happening is, every time Conor is moving and hits that mountain, hits that big buff dude in the solar plex, it is killing his gas tank. Actually, in one specific shot, Conor hits him. You see the mountain, who's got a six-pack and shoulders the size of a boulder and all this fun stuff. You see him go, ugh. A guy that's literally half the size of him puts him in pain. Why? Because when somebody's exhausted, inhaling, they are extremely vulnerable to that body shot. So step two, when they start inhaling and start breathing in and out through their mouth, with your movement, now you really want to start loading up on those straight punches to the body. But keep moving. You don't want to stay stationary. You want to get him even more tired. So it's footwork with punches. And if the mountain tries to grab Conor like you see, he comes like this, very slow because he's tired. Like this, all Conor does is he ducks down and out. Again, the mountain comes down and out. So step two, start attacking the body. And then step three, in beating the bigger man in your next fight, is simply don't let up. What does that mean? That means finish the job. Make this big guy who thought he could pick on you and thinks he can pick on the next guy your size, make him pay for this, make him remember this, make him go home feeling not very good. We want to really teach this guy a lesson. As martial artists, it's our job to humble people that are trying to be bullies. So, I got him exhausted. In around minute 2 of the video, you see, the mountain is done. At one point, like a little girl, he goes on his knees and goes like this and gives up. Conor, being a true martial artist, you can say what you want about Conor, but he's a martial artist, says, I ain't done. Conor McGregor now starts throwing different types of punches. Now, he understands the mountain, he can't fight very well. He was just here trying to mess around. He thought he was a tough guy, really he's not. So Conor's not really trying to hurt him. But now Conor starts taking angles, uppercuts, hooks. At one point, he throws a kick to the body. I think at one point he even takes it back and tries to choke him. Now, really put it on the big guy. Teach this guy a lesson. You can't pick on people that are smaller than you, because every now and then you'll run into an animal like yourself that's going to really put it on him. So step 3, as Conor does, and as I would suggest in any fight against a big man, really put it on him. For one, teach him a lesson, but then 2, for your own safety. Because if that big guy out of nowhere gets a second wind, a second burst of energy, I don't want him to grab me. I want to end this fight. I want to finish this guy. So how do I do that? Now, as soon as he's exhausted, he's quit, he's like the mountain, he's on his knees asking for mommy. Now I really start putting it on him. until they absolutely say in front of everybody, I quit, I'm done, and hopefully they never pick on somebody smaller than them ever again. All right, you guys, so those are the 3 steps it takes to taking down a bigger opponent. Make sure you don't use any of this to bully people or for you to be the bigger opponent. Always use this in self-defense to take care of yourself and the people around you, and to make sure you always stand up to anyone who's trying to bully you or your friends and family. Now, I've attached the actual link to the Conor McGregor versus the Mountain video below, so you can check that out. And make sure while you're going below, you hit that subscribe button, you hit that like button, and leave a comment which of these 3 tips stood out to you the most, maybe was the most interesting, or one that you're gonna practice getting ready for your next fight. Comment below. And then in closing, if you haven't already, visit Brixton81.com, get your next watch, and make sure to always remember the Brixton81 mantra, and that is the attitude is everything. But aside from that, hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon. This is Chris McGarrahan Jr. signing out.